Hey story fans. Welcome to Blow Up, where Reddit's wildest tales explode. Today we've got 6 bangers: affair babies, wedding snubs, workplace tantrums, and a stingy influencer charging for dinner. It's all about family drama, petty revenge, and calling out nonsense. Smash that like button and let's blow this up. Born from a double affair and ditched by all your half-sibs? This guy says he's an only child and folks are mad. Wait till you hear this family mess. I'm 25M. A double affair baby, meaning my mom and dad were both married to other people, cheated on their spouses and conceived me. They ended up marrying each other after their divorces were finalized and they raised me together. Their kids from their first marriages did not accept me and do not claim me as a sibling. I always felt their hostility when I was a kid. They were all moved out by the time I was 9 and I saw them a handful of times after, the last being 7 years ago, and those handful of times they were very clear about not wanting to talk to me and how I was not their brother or their family. I mean, one even told me the world would be a better place if I'd never been born or if I had died. Because of all this, I claim I'm an only child when people ask. I never say I have siblings, half or otherwise. That's just my preference and I find it easier. Plus, I only have siblings through genetics, not through a bond or anything else. I'm pretty sure they would all leave me for dead on the side of the road if the chance ever occurred. This became a topic because I'm engaged to the cousin of a former childhood friend. He and I were friends most of our lives until we hit junior year and he turned into a real dick and our friendship ended. My fiancée and I met years later and she knows my background and she said she would also consider me an only child also. So she has 0 issues. She also has issues with her cousin. I didn't even realize they were related until a while later. But in the last couple of months he's appeared at a couple of family parties and he brought up the fact I claimed the only child label. He never had an issue with it before, but he said I was being childish and a liar by claiming that I am. Then I have a few relatives, not my parents, I'm no contact with them, who get upset when they realize I don't claim my siblings. We have discussed how if they don't claim me or count me when talking about siblings they have, then I won't count them. The family members tell me that could change and I could avoid awkwardness by letting people know, so if I have a relationship with any of them in the future I won't end up with egg on my face. Talk about a family train wreck. This guy's a double affair baby, mom and dad's cheating love child, and his half-sibs basically said, "You're dead to us." One even wished he'd croaked? Harsh. Saying he's an only child is less a lie and more a vibe check. Genetics don't make a bond. That ex-friend turned cousin-in-law stirring the pot? Dude, mind your lane. This guy's just living his truth and I'm here for it. Would you claim siblings who hate you, or go solo like this guy? Ever had family reject you this hard? Drop it below. Did you cut ties or fake it? I'm all ears. That family disowned him twice over, but our next story's a wedding snub that sent a groom's pal packing early. Let's crash this party. My 32M friend Emma got married last weekend. I was excited to attend, but when the invites went out, I noticed I wasn't given a +1. I've been with my boyfriend, 30M, for almost 2 years and he's met Emma multiple times. They've always gotten along fine, or so I thought. When I asked Emma about it, she said it was a budget thing and only married couples were getting +1s. I was a little hurt, but I didn't argue. I figured it was her wedding, her rules. But when I got to the wedding, I immediately noticed that several people, including some who weren't even in relationships, had brought dates. I tried not to let it bother me, but throughout the night, people kept asking where my boyfriend was, since they assumed he'd be there. It was awkward. Later, I found out from a mutual friend that Emma had deliberately not invited my boyfriend because she couldn't stand how perfect he was. WTF? Apparently, she'd made comments before about how he was too charming and how it made her now husband look bad in comparison. I was shocked. My boyfriend is just a genuinely nice guy who's always polite and friendly. After the dinner and speeches, I felt so uncomfortable that I decided to quietly leave rather than stay for the dancing. I sent Emma a quick congratulatory text and left. The next day, Emma texted me, furious that I left early without saying goodbye. I told her I knew the real reason my boyfriend wasn't invited and that I didn't feel welcome. She said I was making her day about me and that I was overreacting and that she just didn't want my boyfriend to take the spotlight at her wedding. AITA for leaving? Emma's jealousy is next level petty. Banning a boyfriend because he's too charming? That's unhinged. She's basically mad he's not a troll like her hubs. The married only excuse was a lie too. Randoms with dates? Rude. Dipping out early was a power move? Why stick around for a bride who's that salty? Emma's tantrum after? Cry me a river, girl. Would you bounce from a wedding like this, or tough it out? Ever been snubbed by a friend this shady? Tell me below, did you leave or let it slide? I need details. That wedding got ditched, But our next tale's a prego shutting out her parents for picking a bully over her. Let's dive into this family feud. Parents let a bully move in and torment their kid. Now she's pregnant and they want in? She said nope. Wait for this epic shutdown. I'm 25F, pregnant with my first child, and only a few weeks ago my estranged parents found out about my pregnancy from someone I know back in my hometown. They reached out so excited to find out they were going to be grandparents and wanting to be involved, but I ignored them and continued ignoring them until 2 days ago when I replied one time and made it clear they will never know my child or be in our lives and that I wanted them to stop contacting me. This was all via email BTW. Let me get into some background. I have an older sister Sam, 28, and she had a best friend Luna. Sam and Luna met in pre-K and became fast friends. Luna was over at our house all the time and eventually she started saying really awful things to me and bullying me. She called me names, mocked me whenever I asked if I could spend time with her, and Sam threw stuff at me when she'd see me and even made a game out of spitting at me and seeing how many times she could hit me. My parents knew and they did nothing, but once I was 7 they sat me down and told me that Luna had a bad time at home and she was mean but she needed us and I needed to understand. And how Luna was so important to Sam and she would grow up into a better person if we didn't abandon her. She used to come along to extended family parties and dinners. I remember one time Mom's side was all meeting up and because my parents didn't say Luna was coming we were a chair short for a bit. Luna took the chair and then said there was no room for me at the table, just like there wasn't room for me anywhere and I should cry in a corner somewhere. Mom's family were horrified and I started to cry. I was like 9 by then. My grandparents ended up leaving the table and getting one for just the 3 of us and they spoiled me while they refused to pay for a single thing Luna consumed. They asked me what was going on too and I told them everything. Afterward my parents got so much shit from Mom's side of the family and my mom's parents contacted my dad's parents and they were shamed by both sides. When they had enough of that my parents told Sam that Luna needed to come over less or she needed to be nicer. They sorta stuck to that for a while. My grandparents checked in on me weekly to see if my parents were letting that spoiled little madam into the house to abuse me, and I think that was the deterrent for my parents. But then when I was 12 my parents let Luna move in with us. They said her home situation was worse and she was going to apologize and we were going to make sure she felt wanted and welcome with us. I got a sorry I guess from her, but I could hear her making fun of me to Sam whenever me and my parents weren't around. She'd laugh about how I looked betrayed when my parents told me she was moving in. She found it hilarious. I think you can see whose side Sam was always on. I lived like that for a little over a year before it got to be too much and I told my grandparents Luna was living with us. They went ballistic on my parents and after weeks or months of fighting about it my grandparents insisted I was going to move in with them. My parents protested against it but my grandparents said they couldn't be trusted to take care of me. My parents wouldn't kick out Luna for me, so yeah. I lived with my grandparents the rest of that time and I actually live in the same neighborhood as them with my partner now. I actually had zero contact once I moved in with my grandparents. These emails were the first contact in more than a decade. My parents keep replying to that one email. I got like 4 within a few minutes about an hour after I sent it and they're telling me I'm taking this too far and they said Luna isn't even in the picture anymore. Luna's a monster and the parents enabling her? Disgraceful. Spitting games and mocking a kid while they just shrug? That's not parenting, that's cowardice. Grandparents swooping in. Were the real heroes? Love that they shamed the whole family tree. Telling them no grandkid time after a decade of silence? Ice cold and well earned. Luna's gone. Too late, suckers, trust dead. Would you block your parents like this, or give them a chance? Ever had family pick a bully over you? Hit the comments. Did you cut him off or call him out? I'm dying to know. Those parents got iced out, but our next story's a worker storming off after being banned from eating inside, dirty shoes and all. Let's step into it. Slaving outside all day then told to eat in the heat because you're dirty? This guy walked off the job. Stick around for the lunchtime rebellion. I work in an office that is relatively small, about 10 people total. About twice a year we do big cleanup days on both the inside and outside. In the name of being frugal, my boss assigns the outside work to us instead of hiring a landscaping crew. I have prior landscaping experience and I made the mistake of letting them know that, so I was assigned to a lot of the stuff outdoors. Everyone else stayed inside for a vast majority of the day. I had to climb up on the roof and clean the gutters. Scrape a bunch of sediment deposit out of our lower parking lot with a shovel. Take a wire wheel on an angle grinder and strip the paint off of an outside stairwell and prime it for painting. Lay out new pine straw in all of the outside shrub beds. And a few other things. Naturally, over the course of the day I got dirty. It's part of working outside. I wasn't filthy, but I had some dust and dirt on my shoes. They ordered pizza for us, and when I went to go inside, our office manager stopped me and said that I couldn't come in because they had just got done cleaning the floors. I told them that I would happily sweep up and mop anything I tracked in, and that I would really like to eat inside because it was hot outside and I hadn't gotten to cool off all day. She still refused. Then my boss heard us talking and came over and we explained the situation. He agreed with our office manager and told me that I would have to eat outside. I told them that I did not appreciate that I was asked to do some pretty gnarly labor and was now being denied entry because I was a little dirty. I then told them that I was going to leave for the day. My boss asked me not to go but still stood by the decision to not allow me inside. And I tried to explain to him that I felt like I was being treated unfairly, but that seemed to fall on deaf ears. I ended up leaving, and a couple hours later I got some messages from my coworkers that were upset with me because they ended up having to go out and finish up a couple of things I couldn't get to after lunch. AITA? Did I unfairly leave my coworkers in a bad spot? I can understand where they're coming from, but I really felt like I wasn't being treated correctly, and I offered to clean up after myself if I made a mess. This is some Cinderella level nonsense. Boss makes him do the grunt work, gutters, grinding, pine straw, then bans him from pizza because of dirty shoes? Offering to mop and still getting shut out? That's insult on top of injury. Walking out was a flex. Sorry coworkers, but fair's fair. Boss can eat that pizza in the heat next time. Would you ditch work over this, or eat outside and fume? Ever been stiffed like this after hard labor? Tell me below, did you bounce or bite your tongue? I need the dirt. That guy left him scrambling, but our next tale's a date gone sour. A dude's sexist rant gets flipped with a savage zinger. Let's dish it out. Sexist date says women with high body counts are recreational only, and she claps back hard. Wait for this dinner table takedown. IF22, had a date with a man, M22, in a restaurant yesterday. We were talking about basic stuff like hobbies, goals, etc. After the dinner finished, he offered to pay for both. I was thankful for that. Our date then continued in the park where we were talking about relationships. Suddenly I started to notice that he talks about women in a negative way, very similar to Andrew Tate rhetoric. Then the topic of body count came into a discussion. Shortly he asked for mine too, then I asked for his 7. I was told by him that it is good for a woman to have a low number of sexual partners because women who have many sex partners are for recreational use only. I was very angry when he said that, so I told him something like a, thanks for dinner. It is good to have a recreational use wallet for a dinner, and left. He didn't say anything, but later he sent me a message calling me a bitch for using him like that. AITA for calling him like that? Edit, to everyone calling it a preference for low body count. He did not have a preference. He straight up dehumanized these women, yet he has zero problem sleeping with them. Edit 2. I don't think using someone for food is good, and I also don't support using someone for sex. This dude's an Andrew Tate wannabe, recreational use only? Gross. Her recreational use wallet comeback? Absolute fire, served him his own trash right back. 7 partners and he's judging her too? Hypocrisy's his real body count. Texting bitch after? Cry harder wallet boy, she won this round. Would you zing a date like this, or just ghost? Ever had a sexist rant ruin a night? Drop it below. Did you clap back or cut out? I'm obsessed. That date got roasted, but our last story's a friend charging for dinner after flexing her mansion. Rude. Let's feast on this stingy saga. Invited to a mansion for dinner, then hit with a bill? This influencer got called out. Stay tuned for the cheapskate showdown. I hang out with a group of friends, and in which one of them is rather boastful influencer. She would talk about her wealth, trips, cars, boyfriends, etc. non-stop. Usually, the rest of us would just listen and not really take offense because she was just rattling off about herself. Recently this friend snagged an extremely rich boyfriend and she proceeded to move into his multi-million mansion. She was so excited and posted pictures of the pool, jacuzzi, etc. She invited us to her new house and specifically said, I want to invite all of you for dinner at my new house with my BF. The rest of us accepted the invitation and came to the house. All the wealth she told about really existed and her BF was nice. He didn't stay throughout as he had paperwork to finish in his room. Soon it was dinner time. We were all hungry as it was quite a long drive to the mansion, and suddenly my friend took out her phone and said, Okay, I'll be ordering food and drinks from a nearby mart. Tell me what you want and I'll get it delivered here. I thought it was strange that she was ordering food, only then instead of having food already prepared for us guests by the numerous maids there. No drinks was served, but we had to order them as well. The food came, it was cold and I just ate and didn't think much of it. The rest of the night was pretty much normal. After we left, the friend proceeded to send us a text of the detailed breakdown of the cost of the a la carte dish and drink that we each ordered with a firm reminder to quickly transfer her the money. The first thing that came to my mind was annoyance. She gave us the impression that she would serve US dinner at her BF's multimillion mansion, but it just ended up with each of us paying for our dinner. What sort of hostess was she? I felt that her invitation was misleading. I wasn't expecting a 10-course dinner, but social convention would imply that at least some simple food and water would be served for the guests and guests would not be charged. We transferred her the money and then I sarcastically texted in the group chat saying, "Oh wow, if I knew we were all paying for our individual meals, we could have met at a restaurant for dinner. I guess all that wealth in the house was just for show." Then I left the group chat. Since that incident, I never hung around much with her. AITA? This influencer's a cheapskate in a mansion. Flexing wealth, inviting folks over, then Venmo NG for cold takeout? Tacky as hell. Dinner at my BF's place screams host vibes, not a DIY bill. That sarcastic text was a masterpiece, calling out her fake flex in front of everyone? Iconic. She's all flash, no class, good riddance. Would you call out a stingy host, or pay and peace out? Ever had a friend pull a bait and switch this lame? Tell me below, did you snap or stay quiet? I'm starving for your stories. That's it for today's blow-up chaos. From affair babies to dinner bills, these stories were wild. Loved it? Hit like, subscribe and ring that bell. More's coming. Got a petty tale of your own? Drop it below, I might feature it next. Thanks for watching, you legends. Catch you soon.